you are dirty. And when you are dirty, you should go home and clean yourself.
Sijui kumetendeka nini.
Janet, Monicah, and Rico found it. Seriously, yeah, let's do this.
From this premiere, what impact will it have today?
I think for me what's really special about this premiere is it's bringing together so many people who are passionate about menstrual health. The movie, I know it's going to move people. It's a story that a lot of us, especially in Kenya, are familiar with. I know it's a global story. And so the premiere, for me, the hope and expectation is it won't only unite menstrual activists, but also it will remind us why we need to keep pushing for menstrual justice and menstrual equity. So I'm excited, and I'm also interested in hearing what happens next after the movie. How are we taking this message with us going forward?
Most people think that menstruation is only a women business, but men should know about this and support women too about it and not feel shy about it. Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of people need to know what girls go through when we face certain stigma. So what I'm expecting from this movie is basically show the raw emotions of what girls face every day that we don't really speak about because, again, it's not a topic that we can really speak up about just yet. So I think my expectation from this movie is just to find out how the director has envisioned this movie to show us exactly what impurity means in terms of like menstruation.
When I started, it was a topic like every other topic. But when I did my research, I found out that this issue is on a global magnitude. It's not just Kenya, it's not just Africa, it's Asia, it's everywhere. Every country is affected by the period stigma. So it's a topic that is relevant worldwide, you know. So Impure is not a cultural based movie, yeah. This is a movie that has a worldwide target audience actually.
It is important to talk about this topic because, like in the interior, some people they don't know the use of pads. They don't know if you pass through this experience, it's normal. So it is important. So it will teach many people in the interior and all over the world.
Please cue us by name.
Okay. Then first, Monicah, what do you think, or what do you hope for is the impact of this film?
First of all, a lot of emotions. Basically just thinking that it's a man who is telling this story and we're here to smash period shaming. It's so inspiring, and I hope it ends here just by having Impure, shown to so many people, globally.
It really shows the magnitude of period stigma and period poverty. This issue affects more than 500 million women and girls around the world, but for some weird reason, it's not prioritized as much as it should in many countries. That really irks me, that really upsets me as an activist, but it's also a reminder that we need to hear women's and girls' stories, menstrual stories. So this message has to be heard. The fact that somebody somebody's life was so affected that she thought the best thing was to leave the world, it shows you how many others feel the same way. And maybe we can begin to listen, we can begin to draw attention to the resources and programs that are needed to support menstrual justice. Otherwise, we'll just keep seeing many more stories like this. Yeah.
So yesterday was Jackline's anniversary, and when we started, the situation for Jackline hadn't happened. It happened in September 2019. We started in May, and so already when we were starting, issues around period poverty are already coming up, and they're already existing, and I can't switch off my periods. It's not going to go away. And so to have somebody die by suicide because of period shaming, because of lack of access or soiling, that's a really, I mean, there's no reason anyone should be dying by suicide, but that particular reason is very heartbreaking for that to be happening.
So what I expect after the premiere is, one, a lot of awareness on period shame, because people think that there is enough awareness made, and it's clearly not enough. And the more we speak about it, the more people understand, the more people get to understand that all matters menstruation involve men, women, and the communities at large. It's not only a woman's issue or a girl's issue. So I hope that everyone here will become an ambassador of period positivity after this.
People find it a taboo and strange to talk about periods, number one. It's considered a very personal, private issue. So amplifying it, even when I started my foundation many years ago, it was one of those instances where people thought, oh, this is very bold of you. But I'm like, it's a natural biological function. It shouldn't be brave, it should be normal. So people maybe don't make as much cinema about it because they consider it taboo, they consider it personal, and they don't see how it's their problem. The issue is, if 500 million people in the world are being affected, I think it's a problem. So maybe from this we'll begin to see other stories. I know that there's documentaries and features, some of which I've participated in, or many people in the room have. Having a feature film is different, and I hope it can begin a trend of having different stories. And also storytelling is so powerful. I started as a storyteller, as a journalist, and so this is a really nice way to bring storytelling and advocacy together.
I think media is one of the biggest platforms we have in the world, whether it's social media, whether it's movies. I think a lot of people tend to watch movies. So I think building this platform and having this opportunity to showcase a movie about this, I think it's a good idea.
So having a tool like a film breaks the barriers, makes the environment really smooth to talk about hard issues like menstruation. Yes, yeah.
The story it is saying is quite touchy, and it's true. Like, you don't even need to say that it's a true story. Like, whoever will watch it, from the first 10 minutes of the movie, you'll know that yes, this is real life based. Yeah. So a lot of learning. Yeah. And importance of having menstrual education and how people treat it, how girls are treated during menstruation. Yeah, it will change the view of menstruation. Yeah.
Why is it important to learn about period shaming as a man as well, and not only as a woman?
Because it's a common interest that gender equality and menstrual equity should be reached, because on one side you have the social aspect, you have empathy, you know, you all of us, we are global citizens, you know, it's beyond borders, this film. All of us want that our neighbors are okay, that people in other countries are okay. This is the social theme there, but there's also an economic factor, you know, because if girls miss out on school because they can't afford pets, then in the long run, like 10, 20 years later, you lose this workforce, you know? And there are a lot of people are very talented here. You have a lot of creative minds, innovative minds. You need them as a human resource to bring a country forward. And to make this economical factor happen only works when you have gender equality. Yeah.
Screening, it should create a very good message, as Rico and the team have put a lot of effort towards this movie, looking at the message that is outside of the girls what has been happening and in rural areas, what the issues girls face. I think the movie will show all those and it might change everyone's perspectives.
I think everybody who's here will learn, will see the true story what's actually happens normally in rural villages. So I think it's a good thing that we are all here to see what's going around us, and especially for the young girls in rural villages.
The fact that we as an organization still exist and all the other individuals that you've spoken to in the space of menstrual health still exist and are still working to empower girls, empowerment, provide access, means that the story needs to be told. And kudos to Rico and the team for doing this film and bringing to life why this conversation cannot die and what can we do even as an organization, as a government, as people, to change the narrative. And it starts with reducing shame, normalizing it. Let me and you have a conversation. I was just saying to Mo and someone earlier that it's not our affair, like female affair, it's our affair. It's a global affair. So it's a global movement and it's a global change. Yeah.
How is it for you that a man directed this movie about a topic that is affecting women a lot?
I think it's the bravest thing he could have done. I think to make a movie, first of all, the creative has to be really understood. The emotions have to be really understood. So I'm guessing the director took a lot of time, a lot of research to understand, to build a script, to understand and put his vision forward. So me, as a female, it doesn't matter if a male directed it or a female, as long as someone's talking about it. But more power to men, because without men, we can't really remove the stigma around this, right? Because women can support women, but unless men start supporting women, we really won't go anywhere.
No, it's just that it doesn't get as much light as it needs to. And I believe that it's important that people understand, myself as a guy, as well as other ladies, because it happens often. It's not just a Kenyan problem, it's a global issue. And we try to highlight what that means and how it affects people. So in my part, as the composer of the film, we just wanted to create a voice for the voiceless and try to make it so that we do our part to share in what way we can a message that needs to be told, a message that needs to be brought out.
I think when you see a story, it's very hard to deny the truth. So maybe what can happen is people can pay attention to the things they say that could be affecting these girls. People can pay attention to the fact that when you don't have access to a menstrual product, it interrupts your ability to continue in school. People can hopefully have empathy, have an understanding of what these girls go through. And we just never need to see another situation like this happen. And maybe that's the biggest reminder, is that 5 years later, things haven't really gotten as better as they need to. And that's very worrying. So why isn't that happening? We need to push and find out why.
I cannot emphasize enough how much we are supposed to talk about periods and just call periods as they are and call menstruation as it is. This is because even in our urban setup, you find families don't even speak to their children undergoing puberty about puberty. So when we talk about it using tools such as this film and using ambassadors like us who are deep in the communities, then even the religious leaders get to understand, the administrative leaders get to understand that they have to champion these messages from the churches to the schools to the homes. And I'm happy to see young children here today.
Many girls are being left for going the changes in their bodies, and if the people see this movie, they'll understand us and they'll not laugh at us when we undergo these changes, because it's natural for us to go through this change. It's part of us girls.
Yes. We are going to learn, all of us, and I think we're getting one thing and we get out of the hall as a different people. I think we're going to learn a lot, all of us, and I think that's important.
After watching this, they'll change their notion about this topic.
And to see, people's reaction after this and the action that will follow, because we have to have this conversation even when we see the end on the screen. It's not the end, it's where the work begins. Yeah.